What's going on, guys? It's the Keymaster 84 coming at you. Another vlog, another video. Very excited to be here. So I think I'm going to use these vlogs as a way to bring you into my mind. Because sometimes I feel like I think about things in a very interesting way. And we will demonstrate that today. So to go off of our point from yesterday, so if you're a little lost about what we're talking about, go check out yesterday's video. But so when I have an idea, so I haven't written any of this down, so I can't cheat. And I did that on purpose so we could do this video, because I thought about this and I was like, oh, you know what, this would be a great idea to show you guys how I think about things when I have an idea, my process. So then that way other people maybe can use what I'm saying and it'll help them process to make their own videos. But so when I have an idea, so if you watched yesterday's video, you guys probably noticed that when when I'm talking about the talk radio and how you can do that for esports, I had it, my mind already started churning yesterday about a radio channel. So you're talking, I gotta have 12 hours worth of content, roughly. You know, that's what most channels or most radio channels do. You can have, X amount of hours for local, and then the rest of it is either more like national shows. I mean, obviously we wouldn't have that as we're just starting. Eventually you could get to that point. So, wow, that's a lot of standing water. Wow. But, so I started thinking in my mind, this is how my mind thinks. So like literally all day yesterday, and it bugged me because I told myself, don't write anything down. But that bugs me because that's what I do. When I have an idea, I can't stop my brain thinking about it until I start putting it to paper. So I'm glad I'm doing this video today because my mind might go crazy. And it really sucks when I have ideas like this before I go to work, because then I often find myself a little distracted. Because it's difficult to sit there and jot all of these ideas down, and you'll see. So I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, so we're going to start an esports terrestrial radio channel. What do we need? First, you need your talent. Most sports channels, radio channels, you have, usually it'll be like a color guy, a pro, or an ex-writer, or kind of like a quasi-ex-writer player, or like an everyday man. So you got five main categories. And I mean, even if you look at like the NFL Network, MLB Network, a lot of their analysts even have a differentiation between the pros too. I mean, you have your Hall of Famers, you got your pros that are just good people, pro people leaders. Anyway, so Anyways, so I mean, in each of these categories, you even have a differentiation between people within that category. So really, the morning show, kind of leads the way. These are your guys who are your A team, because that's when most people are going to be listening to it, because they're going to be on their way into work. And then they'll usually go for about 3 hours, maybe 4, depending on how you format your channel. So 3 to 4 hours. Then you have your mid-morning team, and these guys are pretty good. Usually, this is where you kind of put your budding stars, your guys on the rise. But that's where you put these guys. Guys that are new to this, guys who haven't had as much experience, just speaking on stuff like this, as far as like being able to do the conversations and do all the different things and talk like I'm talking to you guys. And then you have your beginning afternoon crowd, and then you have your drive home crowd, or your drive home group, which is much like the first group, because that's when the majority of people are going to be listening to your show. Obviously, things like contracts and whatnot will get in the way, but you gotta, that's a whole management thing. You gotta position people where they need to be. So, with that being said, you guys can get, so then it's like, okay, so then you start to figure out, you're like, okay, who are some retired pros that we could have on this? And you'd want to have a good cross section of players. And you would want to be able to get, maybe like a guy like Nate Schott, a guy like Fwiz, Optic J, Diesel, Stank down, once he retires, that'd be a great pickup. Pistola's still playing, he just got a new team. But guys of that stature, and then you'd want like your next level guys down. You guys, your more support players like your Embos and your Rambo, guys like that. I'm using guys from Call of Duty because I know them the best as far as kind of like the hierarchy. Same thing with Halo, League of Legends. Actually, League of Legends, you can actually use a few people already. Guys that are retired. You got guys like Dyrus. Dyrus would be, if he was really good at speaking to people, if he was really good about doing that radio style, he would be a perfect pickup. Because he competed at the highest level for so long. But guys in that stature would where you'd want to be like your pro athletes, your ex-pro athletes. That would be the people you'd want to get. And then as far as riders, that's hit or miss, man. That's the only problem with doing a channel like this, is that I can see for right now is you don't want to list out all the guys and be like, okay, who knows the most about a particular, because while all sports are different, they are very much the same when you're discussing them. A lot of them have the same overall feel. They don't have the same intricacies that each one does, because otherwise they wouldn't be. I should not have used such a big word. Intricacies. They don't all have the same thing, because otherwise they wouldn't be unique. With that being said, this, then that's, you kind of, a guy who's really good at his particular e-sport will be able to talk about any of them in a more general sense, but he'll be able to talk about any of them. But then you got, your riders, and that's where it's going to get difficult, is because there's not, like traditional sports, You know, you got your guys at ESPN, you got your guys at your local paper, you got, you know, guys off the Bleacher Report, guys off, you know, there are many websites where, you know, guys can cover multiple things. They can cover football, they can cover baseball, they can cover this, they can cover that, which is great. General knowledge base, good to have. The problem is esports, no one does that. So that's going to be a slight problem, but nothing we can't use. So, that being said, you pick the best, or you try to pick the best that you can get. So you want guys like a Monte Cristo. Monte Cristo, he's a big LOL guy. He would be able, in my opinion, he would be able to do any esport. It's just that he happens to focus on League of Legends. So you need guys like him who are very good speakers, you know, they can talk very fluently about everything. And that's something else. You need someone who can just have a good conversation, which he can. So, that being said, there's all of our talent. That's the base that you need to get. Obviously, you want to narrow down to which people you would have, but you know, it is what it is. We'll figure that out later. Can't focus on that when you have no idea what else you're going to do. So now this is where it gets tricky. Show programming. So there's two ways you can go. And obviously one way, in my opinion, is better than the other way. One way would be to have very, very specific shows. Like, this is our Call of Duty show. This is our League of Legends show. And this is our Dota show. And this is our fighting game show. Blah, 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 blah. No, don't do that. Because then the problem is you're going to alienate your crowd. You're going to alienate your audience. So if I'm interested in League of Legends, and I know that you guys only talk about League of Legends from 3 to 4, or not 3 to 4, but like 1 to 4, well, guess what? I'm only going to tune in 1 to 4, and if I can't make it, I'm not going to tune in. I'm just not going to do it. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm not going to tune in. So you're shooting yourself in the foot before you even get started by going that route. So in my opinion, what you want to do is you want to do, you know, like blocks of, and you want to come up with names for every show, or you have an identity to every show. So you would want to have, you know, an AM, your drive to work crowd show, where it's all about the news from yesterday. Maybe they didn't catch it. Maybe it's some news that's coming out today, especially for guys like me who are on the West Coast. I mean, it's 7:35 now here, but you know, it's already 10:36 now in New York. And you know, rest of the world from there. So with that being said, you gotta, you know, this is where you're going to be having a lot of like, what's going to drive the day? What is going to happen throughout the day from here? And that's what this show will drive home to your audience. This is where you're going to kind of pick, you know, like, all right, if nothing happens, if only stuff that's happened from 10:36 in the morning on the East Coast, you know, 7:36 wherever else in the world that turns out to be, we're not going to get into that. Time travel. Anyways, sorry, random words. From there, you know, you got to say, okay, if nothing else happens in the day, which probably isn't likely, especially in esports, I feel like something's always happening. You need to be able to talk about these 12 topics, we'll say. I don't know. Throw out 12 topics. You got to be able to talk about whatever topics you can come up with in the morning in a different way. It might be slightly different, it might be incredibly different, but every show needs to talk about these 12 topics throughout the entire day. So that way, if someone does have like an off day, or they drive for a living, or, you know, whichever the situation may be, they can listen to it and hear a different opinion. That's what it's all about. Differing opinions. That's why you don't want a lot of people to have the exact same opinion, because otherwise going to get bored. They're like, okay, well, that guy's the same guy as that guy, and that guy's the same guy as that guy, that guy's the same guy as that guy. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. No one's going to want to hear that. So you got to have people who have differing opinions, even on the same show. Because otherwise, if you got two guys who are like, oh, I love TSM Bjergsen. Oh, I love him. Yeah, he's so awesome. Okay. There's no controversy. There's nothing to make people want to listen. Yeah, then you just divide that up, between either 3 to 4 hour shows. Because it'd be pretty easy, especially with commercial breaks built in. And then you're really only talking for about 40 minutes every hour. And it'd be easy to break up a show, talk about roster movements, how that's going to affect teams. Like Halo Championship Series just announced that they're going to be having their Halo Championship Series, $250,000. Then with the finals, they've already put in $1.5 million for the prize pool. Obviously upgradable with crowdfunding. That subject right there, that could be 40 minutes. That could be an hour's worth of your 3. Just talking about how big of a deal that is, that they're able to maintain and exceed what they've already been doing this year. I mean, I could talk about that for at least an hour. And then the fact with all the roster movements that have been going on within Halo and the different ownership groups that are coming in, things like that, based off of, the first finals. I mean, that one topic, and then like right now you got the spring finals are coming up for League of Legends. You got CSGO's coming up. Their season's in full swing right now. They just announced they had 1.6 million people watching their LG Columbus event. There's just a lot of different. There's just so much. I mean, because like right there, I've already listed off 3 topics. One, it's kind of it's maybe like a 1 segment or like a 10-minute topic. But then I got 2 other topics in there that you can break down, and really, have a big analysis on it. You could have call-in guests, where you can talk to commentators or owners' teams or, other writers. There's, players. You can talk to the players, get to know them even more because, no offense, that is one thing that I feel like Call of Duty and Halo do a lot better than any other esport is you get to know their players. Like, I know the names of a lot of people in League of Legends, but I don't know them besides a select few. I mean, I guess yes is the same in traditional esports, but you just know more names in traditional esports. You know more about these people because of the news cycle that they have developed. That is what esports needs to do if they want to take that next step. But yeah, I think if you can have all these guests, and you can easily do 3-hour segments, differing people on every single one, and it would not be an issue. As you guys can see, that's how my brain thinks. And that's literally just right now. Haven't written anything down off the top of my head. So hopefully this guys helps you out when you guys making your next video. I know it's kind of long. I do apologize for the length. I thought it was going to be a little bit shorter, but sorry. But with that being said, guys, this is the Keymaster 84. And until tomorrow, play games to make games. And haters are going to hate. See you guys then. Peace!